What up, Laker Nation? It's your boy DTLF back on another live stream, man. Today we got NBA Lakers updates and rumors. Been about a week, missed y'all, but I'm back, man. We got enough to make a video. Actually, we have plenty to talk about. I don't know if you guys just heard the news, but LaMarcus Aldridge and the Spurs decided to part ways. So I'm not sure if that means a buyout or via trade, but it's going to heat up, man. The trade rumors are starting to heat up. March 25th is the deadline for the trade deadline, and then the buyout market and all that good stuff. So I'm going to update you guys on everything, every little thing we got to talk about right here. You heard it first. But first, let's start with the news of the day. Damian Jones gets another 10-day contract. So how do you guys feel about that, man? What's up? What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Missed y'all. So Damian Jones gets another 10-day contract, gets another chance to prove himself. He really didn't get too many opportunities. So shout out to Damian Jones on that. What's up, big baby? I know a lot of you guys want different players and stuff, but we got to be open-minded, all right? So right now, Damian Jones currently holds spot number 14, and we still have an open roster slot coming up. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens from there. He said, yo, Dan, I heard about LaMarcus Aldridge. Yes. I just heard it as I was coming on to the live stream. That's why it took me longer to get on live, but I wanted to hear some more information. As far as LaMarcus, I'll get right into that. But the first, again, news of the day, Damian Jones gets another chance, another crack at the rotation with another 10-day contract, and let's see what happens there. I do have Andre Drummond news as well, but I am happy for the kid, Damian. Obviously, he did something impressive to earn himself another 10-day contract, and with the game coming up on Friday, we'll see if he gets any sort of PT coming up. Again, we didn't have Marc Gasol last game, and we still didn't play him major minutes. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there. My phone's going off, man. He said, can they keep Jones and get rid of one of the two-way guys? I guess hypothetically, I'm not sure if you could put him there in the two-way contract. That's usually for younger players, man. But maybe so. Maybe you could put him on a two-way contract. I did hear that they're trying to change the rules so that we could take these two-way contracts into the playoffs. If that falls through, then that means that there will be a lot of more teams strategizing towards actually getting rotational players to move towards the playoffs. But yeah, that's what we have. That's the news of the day so far, Damian Jones. Now let's get into some steamy rumors. What's the latest on Andre Drummond? Well, from what I'm hearing, guys, is that the Cleveland Cavaliers are playing hardball. All they traded for him was a second-round pick, I believe. And they're over here trying to get maybe a late first-round pick or a second-round pick or maybe a young piece, which is ridiculous. Look here. You guys are about to start, they're about to start tanking. They might as well cut them. They got Jared Allen and Javel. They got Kevin Love out there, Larry Nance. They got plenty of bigs. Here's my thing. This is the reason I believe that they're holding on to Andre Drummond. As you guys all know, Dan Gilbert, owner of the Cleveland Cavaliers, doesn't have the best relationship, kind of hates on LeBron James. And so I believe that he's trying to see if anybody will pry him off his hands before he has a chance to go to LA. Here's what I'm thinking. Okay, if Drummond gets bought out, it's a 50-50 chance either the Lakers or the Nets get him. If he goes to the Brooklyn Nets, who, by the way, already acquired Blake Griffin, which I was pretty upset about, not with the Nets or anything. I mean, they got to do what they got to do. But I was upset more so at Blake Griffin for making that decision because I'm like, oh, my goodness, like, does Kevin Durant always have to play on such a great team? Like, he went to a 73 win team in the Warriors and helped them to 2 championships. I get that. But now he goes over here. They trade for one of the most powerful offensive big threes in Harden, Kyrie, and KD. And now they get another offensive weapon in Blake, who, by the way, I still believe has a lot left in the tank. So if Andre Drummond joins that team, I got no respect for anybody on that team. I don't care if they win a championship or not. Like, my respect just plummets all the way down. It's already very low for those guys because I feel like they're scared of a 36-year-old. They're so scared that they got to load up as much as possible. At this point, it's overkill if they get Drummond. But I still have no doubt that the Lakers will still compete no matter what. If we don't get Andre Drummond, there's other options. There's Hassan Whitesides of the world, the Dwayne Dedmans of the world. There's plenty of other options. And as you can see, we're giving Damian Jones another 10-day contract. So, again, who knows what's going to happen with Andre Drummond? The chances of him getting bought out are higher because there's not a lot of trade partners willing or are going to be able to take on that big, hefty contract and match that in a trade salaries to get him in return. And if anybody can do it, it's probably Golden State or maybe Boston, somebody like that. But I don't see why they would do it. Having all those trade assets that they have, they can get something maybe even better offensively usually, typically, those teams like stretch fives and bigs who can shoot. So, yep, it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Now we get into the rumor that just popped up right now, and that's LaMarcus Aldridge and the Spurs to part ways. Now, details aren't exactly all the way out, at least not by the time I checked, but it looks like it might be Spurs are working on trade scenarios where LaMarcus Aldridge and have been engaged with several fronts. So it's not going to be a buyout. It's going to be a trade scenario. People already asking me. See, I'm barely taking in the news as you guys are hearing this right now. So people asking me if we should trade for LaMarcus. That's a tough one because, for one, he's been very injured through his stint there with the San Antonio Spurs. That's number one. That concerns me. And people are telling me, well, Dan, you weren't concerned about Blake Griffin. You wanted him. So what's the difference? Well, the difference is with Blake Griffin, he was going to be a buyout candidate, which you don't lose nothing in. It's all low risk, high reward. In this situation, they want pieces in return. So it's way higher risk. Now, if the risk could pay off if LaMarcus gets rejuvenated by being traded to a good team like the Lakers with LeBron playing alongside LeBron and AD, he can stretch the floor. He's a very solid defender when healthy, and his mid-range game is impeccable. Now, how much does he have left on the tank is the questions that should be coming to everybody's minds, and how much is the asking price? He has a hefty contract as well. So for those reasons, I think I'll pass on LaMarcus unless we get a great deal on him. But yeah, I'm curious to see what you guys think. What does Laker Nation think? Are you guys interested in LaMarcus Aldridge? Will you guys pass on him? For me, our main focus should be on Andre Drummond. It's looking likely like he gets bought out. The Lakers should be recruiting. He has a very good friend with Anthony Davis since they were younger. They played together, I think, on each other's high school team, if I'm not mistaken. Drummond just fits the bill. He's always been my primary target from the beginning. So I hope that that Dan Gilbert could just swallow his pride and cut him and do what's best for his team and what's best for Drummond as well. So let's see. My man said he's washed. He said, pass, bro. He said Victor Oladipo to Lakers would love that. He said, pass. We need a three-point shooting and a big. Three-point shooting and a big. He said Nets are getting him. He said he didn't want to join Kobe. F him. Oh, I forgot about that. You're right. He didn't even give us a meeting, right? I believe. Or did he give us a meeting? I forgot. So long ago. But bottom line is, I'm of the mindset that if you passed up on the Lakers and you had your chance, you know, that was your chance. Like Kobe said, some people aren't meant to be Lakers. They don't have the mindset, right? But bottom line is, look, he didn't even give us a meeting as if he was that great. And he's well into his 30s now. So rumor has it that the Miami Heat are one of the teams that are showing interest in LaMarcus Aldridge. So it's funny to me. They didn't trade Tyler Hero and Duncan Robinson in a package for James Harden. Now, what are they going to offer for LaMarcus? I have no idea what they would offer, but yeah. He said Aldridge at the 4, AD at the 5, yeah or nah? Again, man, there's too many questions around LaMarcus Aldridge. Now, to be fair, I'm going to be honest with you guys. I don't watch a lot of Spurs basketball, nor do I think even San Antonio. People that live over there watch a lot of Spurs basketball. It's a boring brand of basketball. It's always been that way. They win a lot. They have a great coach, so credit to them. But it is a really boring brand of basketball, man. I think even the fan base has forgotten who DeMar DeRozan is. That's how bad it is in San Antonio. But, you know, it's not to throw shade on them or nothing. My point is that maybe I haven't seen enough of LaMarcus for me to make that assessment. Now, obviously, if we make a trade for him, it's because Rob Pelinka sees something in him that maybe he still has that spark. Maybe he's still determined. Maybe he still has some gas in the tank. Personally, me, if I'm Rob right now, though, I'm not giving up too much for him. And again, I don't know how salaries would work and all that. I haven't even looked at his contract. Like, the news just smacked me dab in the face as I was coming on live. So again, this is the time when a lot of stuff is going to start happening. I told you guys, what we could potentially end up doing is something from left field. It could be like a LaMarcus type. You never know. But again, his contract is too much. And San Antonio, they're not a very good trade partner. They were calling other teams, telling them not to trade with us. So I kind of have a grudge against them as well. Popovich is a Laker hater. But then again, everybody else is. So at the end of the day, look, nobody wants to help the Lakers. We're going to have to make bread where we can. We're going to have to make do with what we have, and we're going to have to be able to add players that go under the radar maybe. Again, Damian Jones, not a lot of people seen this coming. We have him for another 10-day contract. He has another shot at the rotation, at the roster, my bad. But A lot of people talking Oladipo. I love Oladipo. I mentioned this about a week ago. Oladipo, maybe his asking price won't be too high. Maybe it will. For some reason, maybe it's just me being a biased Laker fan, but I feel like the asking price for the Lakers is always way higher than the asking price to other teams. For example, when Drummond got traded out of Detroit, I thought they coveted him, but I guess they moved away from that and they flipped him for a second-round pick. I was besides myself. I was like, the Lakers could have offered that, but again, we didn't have the cap space to absorb that contract, so that factors into that. He said, "Hey, Dan, sup, Laker fans? What's up, man? Happy to be back, brother. Happy to be back. We're just talking rumors right now. So, bottom line, my primary target is, like I said, my primary target is still Andre Drummond. I feel like we have a good shot at him. Rumors says we have a good shot at him, but who knows? Again, sometimes these rumors aren't very accurate. Now, what other options do the Lakers have if that doesn't come to fruition? Let me give you an example. If the Cavs get lucky enough to get another team to trade for Andre Drummond, then he's off the market. Where else do we look? Well, we already kind of talked about it a little bit. We need a rim protector. We need a big who can play 15 to 20 minutes per game and give us some solid contributions. Marc Gasol hasn't been able to fill in that role. We thought he would. We thought he at least would do a better job of stretching the floor and passing, but even that has been limited in a small sample size this season. Now, with half of the season gone, or per se, more or less, the second half of the season coming around the corner starting Friday, we desperately need a big man who can block shots, rebounds. Therefore, if Drummond plan A doesn't come to fruition, Whiteside would probably be my next option in line. And then we go down from there. Then we're talking about Deadman. Then we're talking about DeMarcus Cousins, who's not really a rim protector, but at least maybe he can help stretch the floor a little bit better, play the pick and roll, pick and pop a little bit better, and maybe he can move his feet defensively just a little bit better than Mark. Anything would be an upgrade. He said Drummond preferred to go to the Nets over the Lakers. That's the rumor. That is the rumor, Ricardo, but that rumor is coming from a football player who's also one of his good friends. But who knows? Some of these guys are just clickbaiting, trying to get attention off of something else. Allen Robinson is a free agent himself. So he should be focused on his own situation. He said, any chance we keep Jones and go get more shooters? Look, Tony, a lot of people are making a big deal out of our shooting. We struggled, but we also didn't struggle. When the season started, we were shooting lights out. Matter of fact, KCP and Alex Caruso were top 3 in the league at three-point shooting. So I believe shooting is all about chemistry, and it's about just getting a flow for the game. I think it'll come back to us. So as far as shooting being one of our weaknesses, sure, I guess you can address that, but why not use that on defense instead, on size and defense paint protection? You know, I much rather use those slots on 2 bigs or 1 big and 1 defensive wing than to go out and get another shooter. So that's unfortunate. Quincy, what's up, my brother? He said, did you hear about Aldridge? Yeah, you're a little late, bro. We already kind of covered that, but just to give you a quick rerun, I'm not sold on LaMarcus. Neither is most of the Laker Nation in the comment section here. Reason being, the asking price is going to be really, I think, unreasonable. San Antonio does not like the trade or help the Lakers for that matter. And LaMarcus, we don't know how much he has left in the tank. He hasn't looked that great in San Antonio, to be honest with you. Maybe, again, it could be a similar situation of Blake Griffin. It's the disinterest, or maybe it's Father Time come knocking. But his contract is too big. I'm not even sure how much years he has left in his contract. That's probably a no-go for the Lakers. We're looking for something cheaper, most likely on the buyout market. If we trade, which I haven't heard about any potential trades, it's going to be something we don't expect. But here's a little nugget that a lot of people didn't know, myself included. I overlooked it. Was that KCP actually has a no trade clause for those of you that are hoping that he gets traded? It's looking very slim to none, unless the Lakers literally go to KCP and say, "Look, man, you haven't played great. You either step it up or we're going to trade you, and if you decline it, we're going to bury you at the end of the bench." That doesn't seem like something the Lakers would do. We're a class organization. We don't take it out on our players because they don't want to get traded. So whatever happens with the Lakers, again, and this is major credit to Rob Pelinka, it's all been under the radar. Everything has been under the radar. News on Montrez, he had me a little concerned, man, because he was making some worrisome tweets where we all know he mentally he gets depressed and stuff. It happened last year after I think a family member of his passed. So prayers up to Trez. Hopefully he feels better. God forbid anything happen to him, man. He's been a a godsend to the Lakers this year. So we need him to be mentally and physically and emotionally ready when the second part of the season starts on Friday. Now, the main concern here is his health, though. Basketball aside, there's other things that are more important, even though ball is life. So he said, nah, man, I like big KCP. No trading him. Hashtag loyalty. Tony P, I agree. I give him the benefit of the doubt. A lot of people want to get rid of him. I've said he needs to play better or else I'm going to get on board with that. But look, I don't foresee him getting traded. So I don't see a trade coming. I could be wrong, and there could be a shocking trade made out of the blue. But another rumor I'm hearing is that, Dennis Schroeder and the Lakers camp are very close to reaching an agreement on an extension. How close? I don't know. Could that fall apart at any point? Absolutely. So that's not really news till it happens. But I just wanted to report that to you guys. So again, prayers up to Trez. Hopefully he's good. Whatever happens with the Lakers, a lot of rumors flying left and right. Early reports had it that Drummond and the Lakers had mutual interests. Now we're hearing that from his own personal side people. I don't know if they're his real people or they're just trolling. But they're saying that the Nets have a great chance of signing him as well because they still have the mid-level exception, which is more than what the Lakers have, and all this kind of stuff, man. But bottom line, guys, we'll see. We'll see what happens. He said, LaMarcus or Drummond? I'll take Drummond. Drummond gives us what we need. LaMarcus gives us more of what Anthony Davis provides, but in a lesser sample size, a smaller version of that. So I will take Andre Drummond if I have the choice. Good question. He said, Dan, what about Whiteside? Whiteside to me is a fallback option, but I'm not sure where in the priority list the Lakers have him. He's currently not a free agent, so we'd probably have to trade for him. I think if I had to guess, based on what Rob Pelinka did last trade deadline or right before, they're probably trying to add to this roster without subtracting. We already subtracted Quinn Cook, who we don't really use much. So they're probably just trying to add via free agency. The buyout market, I think it's just about to start opening up. If Drummond hits the buyout market, I think there's a 50-50 chance we get him. The only competition we have is Brooklyn because they have more to pay. But if Drummond is smart, if Andre Drummond is smart, he'll become a Laker. No, not just because I love the Lakers and I'm a diehard Laker fan, but because he can showcase his talent better here. Think about it. He goes to Brooklyn. How many touches does he get per game? He'd be lucky to get 7. Okay, they got plenty of shooting over there. They already have too much problems. They added Blake Griffin, another one who needs the ball in his hands to be successful. Again, I didn't understand why he went there. But if we add Drummond, we showcase him perfectly. He plays with LeBron. All right. Now, Drummond has been a troubled player who's had some off-the-court issues, and he's had some on-the-court slip-ups. None which I can point at because I really haven't looked at his career. This is all based on what I'm hearing. But he can right the ship by coming to LA, helping us to the finals and to win a championship. Can you imagine Anthony Davis and him wreaking havoc? We may even sign him to a contract extension if it works out. They could terrorize the league for years to come. Little did I know he's 27, which lines up with Anthony Davis. And remember, Rob Pelinka's words, they're looking for a young star that fits the same timeline of Anthony Davis. He didn't say we're looking for a star that fits the timeline of LeBron James. Anthony Davis. Drummond fits the bill. Now, is he an all-star? Borderline. He's a great rebounder. He's a great guy around the basket. He's not like a primary shot blocker, but I think he'd be a good secondary help defender type guy. So Drummond would fit in. Hey, what's up, Laker Nation for life? What's up, girl? So I think he fits in, bottom line. Now, there's also rumors on Javel Mcgee. I see you, bro. Rumors on Javel Mcgee if he gets bought out. The only thing is if he gets bought out, we can't re-sign him. He would have to get traded to another team, then get bought out in order for us to qualify to re-sign him under the collective bargaining agreement. Don't ask me why. Those are the rules. But back to Drummond. Drummond fits perfectly here with LA. He would be able to highlight his talent, showcase it better than Brooklyn. Because Brooklyn, he'd be lucky to catch a couple of bones, a couple of lobs here and there. But yeah, he fits perfectly with us. Plus, they already have DeAndre Jordan. We don't have any starting centers. So yep. That's why I think it's better for his career and for the long term. He's only 27. He may catch another big contract if he comes to play for the Lakers and helps us to a championship. Can LaMarcus defend? He's solid at his age. I'm not counting too much on him. What is he, 33, 34? Maybe older. I haven't checked. But yeah, he's solid. He's not the worst defender, but he's also not going to stand out. But to be fair, neither will Drummond. Drummond is he's somebody who can block shots, but he's not somebody you can count on blocking shots every game. That's why they traded for Jared Allen. Jared Allen fits that role better. However, we are already the best defensive team in the league, which shows you that if we could just have Drummond block 1.2 blocks per game, which is what he's averaging here with the Lakers, that's all we need, man. Anthony Davis will take care of the rest. He's a big body to put in the paint, to gobble up the rebounds where we struggle. We struggle rebounding the ball, and just get us with putback easy buckets and stuff like that. And that way we don't have to feel the pressure of starting Trez or increasing his minutes. He can stay in that 6-man role, and I think a lot of our issues would get fixed. Now, the fallback options, and this is why I said, what other options do the Lakers have? There may be some that we don't know about yet that might get bought out. I have no idea what other options outside of Whiteside, Deadman, and guys like that. Who else do you guys foresee the Lakers having the ability to snag up on the market or free agency or whatever? He said, hey, Dan, would you rather have Mo Bamba or Drummond? Mo Bamba is another name. I'd much rather have Drummond. Drummond is a proven player in the league. What does Mo Bamba average for his career? 4 points? He doesn't get many minutes. Maybe that factors into it. But I'd much rather have a proven player, although Mo Bamba has a better defensive potential. So, the Lakers have been known to turn, to grab another man's trash and turn it into our treasure. That's what we did with plenty of players. Not to call these players trash. That's not what I meant. But as the saying goes, man, sometimes you find these diamonds in the rough. We did it with Trevor Ariza. We've done it with plenty of players that really weren't anything on other teams. I'm hoping we could do it with Alfonso McKinney. He's really solid. And in a sense, he kind of reminds me a little bit of Trevor. No disrespect to Trev, but body-wise, size-wise, athleticism, defensive potential's there, and it looks like he can knock down the shot. So maybe we just seen in a small sample size, but who knows? I didn't even know Mo Bamba is available. He's currently not. He's currently not even on the trading block. I don't think. I haven't heard anything about it. But, I mean, he's somebody the Lakers could definitely take a flyer on. Is it likely? It's not very likely because the Lakers are looking for proven players to help compete for championships, not project players. But I do like project players. Like I said, McKinney has shown some glimpses here and there. I like players like that. He said, Dan, Drummond is from New York. I see your point, Jackie, but I'll raise you Anthony Davis is from Chicago, and he re-signed with us. So I still have hope that we can land Drummond. Again, to me, if I'm his agent, I'm telling him don't look at the short-term contract. If you get bought out, you already lost money at the buyout anyways. Don't look at the short-term, because winning a championship with Brooklyn is not going to be as decorated as winning one for the Lakers, where they have a little bit less talent than Brooklyn offensively right now. So if I'm his agent, I'm like, go to LA and earn yourself a better reputation, a better contract where they actually need a starting center rather than going to Brooklyn where you're then going to have to replace DeAndre. And then there's 4 other guys that are ball dominant. So you may catch some lobs here or there, but he said, hey, Dan, Aldridge actually wanted to come because he gave us 2 meetings. He said, but our pitch wasn't that great. I guess, man. Again, depends on what the asking price for him was. And now, if he was a buyout candidate, I'm definitely looking his direction. If he's a buyout candidate, if LaMarcus Aldridge is a buyout candidate and Drummond's not available, then he's the next option on the list. But he's not a buyout candidate as of right now. A rumor has it that the Spurs have a couple of trade candidates, and I'm sure they do. It's the Spurs. The Spurs usually don't lose assets just like that to get rid of them. But again, supposedly we have a good shot at Andre Drummond. Who do you guys prefer? Is there anybody you guys prefer over Andre Drummond? I really don't see too many options I can say are better for the fit. I'm not talking about for the offensive need or nothing. I'm talking about for the fit. He said, Drummond could be the next great Lakers center now. Whoa, slow that down. Drummond is very good, man. Drummond is a very good starting caliber center now. I don't know about next Laker great. We've had some pretty great ones come through here, but I could be wrong. We'll see. I do like his fit, like his role that he would come play here. I think he's just imagine, Drummond and Anthony Davis in the paint. That's a scary front line for any team historically, let alone for the soft Brooklyn Nets, who basically trying to overload on offense but ain't worried about defense. So Dwayne Dedmon, Mo Bamba. A lot of people are infatuated with Mo Bamba. That's curious. I'm curious about that. I know that Mo Bamba has potential, but is that truly what we should be looking at right now? Because if that's the case, if we're focused on potential, start THT right now. No excuses. If we're talking about potential, the kid has all the potential in the world. But I think what the Lakers are looking at what the front office has done, they like their veterans. They go out here and get guys like Wesley Matthews in free agency. So I don't foresee us trading for Mo Bamba unless that was the only option on the market. But if we're going to have options, I think they're going to go out for somebody who is a little more proven than Mo Bamba. Bamba ain't the answer right now. That's what I'm saying. Thank you. He said Kevin Durant loves forming the Justice League. Isn't that right, Jackie? I'm so disappointed in KD. He's got to be the most disappointing, talented player ever. He went from being really competitive and leading his team to the finals alongside Russell Westbrook and a rookie James Harden. I think he was a rookie. Leading his team to the finals to losing and then losing to the Warriors and then joining the Warriors, then going to Brooklyn and trying to regain some respect because I guess he didn't get enough credit for those super team championships in Golden State, to now building another super team. And I know what you're saying. He's just a player. But come on. If you don't think he had anything to do with recruitment and stuff like that, he's one of the best players on the planet, respectively. He's definitely recruiting. And he's been on all kinds of teams, man. Like all the talent he has played with, I don't think LeBron James, Jordan, and Kobe combined have played with that amount of talent. And that just tells you that Kevin Durant, to me, like he's never going to prove to me he's one of the top players. He's the top player in the world. He can never have that title after the super teams he has built. Now, you can argue with me all day long, but bottom line is he's never won anything without a super team. And it doesn't look like he's going to win anything without a super team in the near future either. So very, very disappointing. I was a big fan of KD when he was with OKC. And then I really was like, it was a suspect move to join the 73 Warrior team. So he said, KD said LeBron can't win without a super team. Hypocrite. That's what I'm saying, Kevin Love. Watch it be the real Kevin Love. No, but that's what I'm saying, yo. It's crazy how, teams that are players that are the most critical of super teams end up joining multiple super teams. Like, I wouldn't be shocked if Damian Lillard joins a super team at this point. It's talking about he'd never join a super team. It's been done before, man. KD said he was never leaving OKC. And look at him now. 2 cities later, 2 super teams later. He said, DTLF, what do you think? What do you, KCP, Gasol, and THT for Oladipo? KCP, Gasol, and THT for Oladipo. I really don't think it's going to take that much. I'm not sure I'd do that. That's a lot. We're giving up KCP, who has the chance to turn up in the playoffs. He's done it before. And we're giving up THT, who has a chance to be an even better player than Oladipo throughout his career. That's major. I'm not sure. Guys. I'm not sure if that's something I'm doing at all. But what do you guys think? Is that something you guys would do for sure? He said Otto Porter Jr. buyout. I do like Otto Porter Jr. But again, we need to prioritize what we need now. If we already had a center in place and then he's a buyout candidate, I'd say sure, why not? He's a long defensive-minded wing who can hit shots here and there. But the good thing that I'm hearing right now, and I'm going through my Twitter timeline, just seeing the latest developments, is that Andre Drummond is at the top of the Lakers wish list. Now, I just hope that the Lakers are at the top of Drummond's wish list. Again, if I'm his agent, do not go to Brooklyn, bro, because you might make an extra $3 million, but you're gonna lose. I think his value will go down. Remember, the value of Drummond type bigs is already low because these guys can't shoot, and the league is shifting more and more towards shooting. Did you guys see the All-Star game? These mother suckers were pulling up at half court. And I'm sorry. It's entertaining and everything, but it's just not real basketball to me. Like the first 3 quarters of the basketball game, they had some entertaining moments. I'm not going to say it was fully boring, but in general, the competitive spirit didn't really kick into the fourth quarter. I hate it, man. I hate it. These things have turned into such scrimmages and them shooting half-court shots. Like there was one where Damian Lillard, in the beginning of the shot clock, pulled up from half court. I guess if there's one place where he can do that, it's the All-Star game. But I'm just so scared that the game is going away from the actual physicalness, the toughness, and the grit. The mid-range shot is almost all but extinct. Poster dunks are far and few in between in the league nowadays. And suckers are out here pulling out from the 4-point line, which nobody wants to see, by the way. Like, if you like real basketball, the last thing we want is for players to be jacking up half-court shots. That doesn't give the defensive time to set their feet. It's not as competitive. It's just a lot of lazy basketball out there. He said, DTLF Spurs parting ways with LaMarcus Aldridge. Yes, we covered it earlier in the video. If you haven't seen that, I already kind of mentioned it twice. So just make sure you rewind the video. I got plenty of good information on that. He said, what? He said, when's the already deadline? The trading deadline, I believe, is March 25th, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody fact check me on that, but I think it is. I think I've heard about, I think March 25th sounds like an important date. March 25th, most likely. He said the refs need to man up and quit calling so many fouls. It's a new league, man. It's very soft. We get flagrants left and right. It's super annoying. And I hate how they stop the game and slow it down to check every single replay. It's like, there should be a limit to this crap. It should be like only when the game is on the line, because these refs look at the replay sometimes and they still make the bad calls. So sometimes the replay center, I don't know if they're blind, they need glasses or whatever, but they're still not making the right call. Dennis and Caruso for Steph Curry. Jackie, that is very generous of you to. That's wishful thinking for you to think that's a possibility. Curry's probably never going anywhere. I'd be shocked if he ever, even at 35, he's probably going to stay with the Warriors if he even plays that long. So yeah, he's one of those type of franchise players who has built his legacy. When you think of the Warriors now, you think of Steph Curry. So, and similar to Kobe fashion, I doubt he moves unless he has some sort of falling out with his teammates or his front office, like LeBron did with Dan Gilbert. But other than that, yeah, it was fun to watch LeBron and Curry teaming up. But really, all it was LeBron passing it to Curry for threes. Anybody could pass it to Curry for threes. He said, "Hey Dan, how many minutes do you see McKinney getting?" Well, Coach said that he deserves more minutes based on his recent play and garbage time. So I can see him getting anywhere from 10 to 12 minutes per game. They usually don't give you the full bump, like for 25 to 30, but maybe eventually over time he could become a rotational player. I mean, I like the potential. He's not the youngest guy in the world, but he's not the oldest either. So I do like his defensive potential, especially, and the ability to knock down shots. Young Elder tripping, bro. He said Pelinka is lazy. Nah, man. He's very calculated. He's not going to make moves just to make moves. A lot of these franchises out here, man, they're willing to make moves just to, give their fan base something to get excited about. That's nice and cute and all, but if it doesn't help you and if it doesn't impact your roster enough to win a championship, Rob Pelinka shouldn't do it. Bottom line is we got to make championship moves out here, man. Rob is out here playing chess while these others are playing checkers. So Blake Griffin, yeah, it sucked that he went to Brooklyn, but the Lakers still have a shot. We just need to address that front court. People forget that even through the injuries and everything early on, we're still in third place in the West. We're still ranked number 1 in the NBA in defensive rating efficiency. And we have a lot of room for improvement. Not to mention these last 10 days have been a godsend for LeBron James. I mean, did you see him in the All-Star game? He looked tired. If that's not an indication that the man needs some rest, I don't know what is. So the good thing about All-Star is that it gave all of our team a full rest, and hopefully these guys will be ready for Friday because the schedule's about to start getting tough. What did I think of the All-Star game, man? I'll be honest with you, man. This thing has lost a lot of its lucrativeness for me over the years. Back then, they actually used to compete. Not to sound like an old head, but back then, they actually used to compete, and players had pride and wanted to show that they were why they deserve to be there. And nowadays, man, it's a lot of people out here not even trying. And it gets fun when they actually try. It gets fun when they actually try to play defense and they try to do some stuff. But the most impressive thing of the All-Star game was not the three-point shooting, because we all know Damian Lillard and Curry can pull up from anywhere. For me, the most impressive thing was actually Giannis going 16 for 16, including a couple of threes and getting that MVP. I didn't expect that. So I was like, okay, Giannis. But I was tuning in and out of the game. I was spending time with my girl. It was her birthday week, so I've been spending tons of time with her, man, spoiling her. But overall, man, I didn't enjoy the dunk contest at all. The most enjoyable part for me was probably the ironically, the 3-point shootout. because it came close. Mike Conley lost by 1 point. 1 point. So that was actually competitive. I like competition. I was cheering for Mike Conley. He lost. Credit to Curry, the best shooter of all time. But bottom line is Mike Conley lost by a point, and that's what I want to see. The dunk contest was just straight up whack, man. Every year it gets worse, and it's because of the stinking judges like Dwayne Wade who killed it for us. When we actually had good dunkers like Zach LaVine and Aaron Gordon, these suckers out here, giving lesser scores because of their favorite players are on the court. Like, man, you're supposed to judge with your eyes, not with your heart, when you're in a dunk contest. So for that reason, I think I might not even watch next season. Every year they're getting lesser and lesser talented players. Gone are the days when we had Kobe in it, when we had Jordan in it, when we had, some of the major superstars and pillars of the game. Now we lucky if we get G League players. Alex Caruso turned down the dunk contest. If that doesn't tell you that it's dead, I don't know what will. So in order for me to watch a dunk contest next year, they'll have to at least get a star or two, man. I'm trying to see Ja Morant in the dunk contest. What was most disappointing to me after watching a dunk contest, somebody said, damn, these judges always tripping on the scoreboard. And Ja Morant said, this is why I don't want to ever join the dunk contest. I was like, what? Bro, even if you lose, you'll be the people's champ, just like Aaron Gordon. So join that shit. Like, come on, man. How soft do we have to be afraid to lose to join a competition? If anything's for the fun, it builds on your legacy. People still remember Dominique Wilkins, even though he lost to Michael Jordan. I didn't see it, but it made all its way to my ears, my young ears. So that tells you that even if you lose, if the dunk contest is good, it's a legendary moment. I mean, who can forget Nate Robinson jumping over Shaq? Come on, man. Right? So star power is where it's at. The league can't even get its stars to join the dunk contest. So nobody trying to watch that mess, man. Like I said, I'm most likely not going to win and not going to watch it next year unless they have a star or a Lakers player in it. I'm not interested. It was so whack. And did you see the dunks they were doing? Come on. Bro did an aerial kiss to the rim and just a regular dunk and won with that dunk. All right, enough ranting about the dunk contest, guys. Back to the Lakers. He said Alex wants to rest. Yeah, I'm not tripping about him not joining. All I'm saying is the reason Alex didn't want to join is because the dunk contest is whack now. And there was only 3 dunkers. It used to be, like 6 or 8 or something like that? We want competition, man. As a basketball fan, you want competition. That's why the All-Star Game and All-Star Weekend as a whole has lost a lot of his lucrativeness to me personally, because even though it's still fun to watch, especially when there's a Laker involved, it's just not as exciting as when I was a kid or even a teenager watching guys like Vince Carter, T-Mac, Kobe going hard at each other, man. Like, it was fun. He said, I want Trevor Ariza, Andre Drummond, and a good, 3-point shooter? All of that? You'd be lucky if we get one of those 3, man, to be honest with you. I don't think the Lakers are looking at that much of a switch up. Dan Andre and 1 3-and-D player, and we're good for the playoffs. Who do you have in mind? Trevor Ariza, PJ Tucker? Like, who's your 3-and-D guy? I want to know. I want to know who that is. He said the dunk contest is not worthy of Caruso's greatness. That wasn't my point. My whole point of bringing him up, turning down the dunk contest, because this could have been a chance for him to build on his already super awesome legacy. But he turned it down because he knows it's not lucrative. That's the whole point of me bringing it up, man. I'm not talking smack about Caruso. I love the kid. He said, we still have a chance to get LaVine? I don't know. I haven't heard nothing about it. Sometimes it is what you don't hear about that ends up happening. But again, the Lakers covered a big man. So LaVine's not a big man. I doubt it, man. I really doubt it. The Lakers are coveting a big name, like a big man to help rim protect. So if it ain't a big man, I don't believe that it's going to happen, no matter what rumors I hear. Unless it surprises us, comes from left field. If Victor Oladipo ends up with the Lakers, I'll be ecstatic because he's a 3-and-D guy. And yes, he can knock down a 3 regardless of whatever his percentage is. He's been struggling this year, but I do believe, I don't know if you guys ever heard of this, but a lot of the times when a player's not or doesn't fit in a situation or is not happy there, they play a certain way. When they get put in a place where they can actually compete and they're happier, just watch what it's going to do to Blake Griffin for the Nets. It's going to revitalize him. Like, it's going to bring him to life. That's why I wanted him on the Lakers. But again, a lot of people just look at the stats, the percentage. I've argued with people on Twitter about the percentage busters and stuff like that. Like, don't you agree that creating your own shot in Houston, where they really don't have stars, John Wall's no longer a star, DeMarcus no longer a star, and you have to create your own shot, the defense can zero in on you. As a result, your percentage will dip because more shots will be contested and will be worse shots percentage-wise. Whereas if Victor gets traded to the Lakers and he's playing with LeBron and AD once they're healthy, guess what? You get a lot more open shots, better looks at the basket, better cuts, better everything. As a result, the percentages will go up. That's why I don't really look at percentages. You have to look at the overall game of basketball to dissect. Like historically, when Vic was healthy, he was an all-star, borderline superstar the way he was playing, because he was dominating on both ends of the floor. He was scoring buckets and stopping people from scoring buckets. That to me has a lot of value. Bradley Beal would be amazing. I love Bradley Beal. It's not realistic, but I always keep an open mind because you never know. Lakers are the Lakers. We make big moves, you know? See, the latest update on the Spurs is that they're working on the trade scenarios with LaMarcus Aldridge and have been engaged on several fronts. So they got options, guys. He's not going to be cut. They got options. Now, what those options are, is LaMarcus Aldridge still good enough to move the needle? I'm not sure. It depends on who trades for him. Isn't the Spurs in love with Kuz? I don't know. Again, I don't expect them to make trades with us. When was the last time we made a trade with the Spurs? I don't recall. They don't like us. Popovich made that painfully clear when he made calls to multiple teams, especially the Pelicans, so we don't make that trade for Anthony Davis. So I'm not going to hold my breath, nor do I really want anybody from the Spurs outside of maybe Patty Mills, who can knock down threes. DeMar would be solid, but yeah, I don't see them helping us out. A lot of teams hate the Lakers, so just look for the buyout market. I think that's our best option, unless a team benefits highly of making a trade with us. Then I don't really foresee it. I wouldn't really trade for LaMarcus because his contract, guys, is worth a lot. It's going to take Dennis Schroeder and somebody else, maybe both KCP and Dennis for him. I don't want that. We're solid at the guard. Yes, KCP has been struggling, but I still believe that's not where our weakness lies. We need a big without subtracting our guards, and that way we can continue to have that guard depth moving on to the playoffs. Remember, people forget KCP and Alex Caruso were top 3 in three-point shooting to start the season. A lot of people attribute their scoring struggle to the fact that they lost their legs due to the fact that the quick turnaround in the offseason. I'm not going to make excuses for these guys, but I do believe that they could turn things around like this. I believe it, man. They said Dion retired after the championship. People still talking about Dion Waiters, man. Honestly, he didn't have a major role for us in the playoffs. We shouldn't be talking about him. Trade for Robert Sacre? LOL. Matthews, move him. Wesley Matthews? Well, I mean, how much trade value does this kid have? I'm not sure he has too much trade value right now. If anything, if you want, you could cut him. He has been that atrocious that he could warrant being cut. But I think what's going to happen is I believe that the coach has trust in veterans. The trust has paid off. People were saying similar things about Rondo last year before we went to the playoffs. Hey, he's trash. Cut him. Trade him for a bag of Skittles. Trade him. Just get rid of him. Cut him. Blah, blah, blah. We got to be patient sometimes with these veterans. Hopefully, Wesley Matthews pays off in the playoffs. He has been atrocious thus far, though. I'll give you that. So I don't blame you for not wanting him on the team. But I will say that, NBA front offices are a lot more patient than fans. They don't get trigger happy. They tend to look at history and hope that it prevails again. Hope that these veterans step up. That is true. Rondo did have a playoff reputation. So, yeah, that's why I gave him the benefit of the doubt. But a lot of people, even with that playoff reputation, were still bagging on him. They call him everything from Franklin the Turtle to Bum. I don't know, man. People just need to chill out. Like, these are professionals. Sometimes they go through things, but I think sometimes they turn it around, especially the vets. He said, Dan, we need to take another look at Whiteside and Mo Bamba. Heard it. I hear you, man. But I think the Lakers are going down as they should. They're being patient because imagine we fill up the roster spot and then Andre Drummond gets bought out and then he wants to come to the Lakers, but we don't have a roster spot. Like, you have to think of everything. I think they're keeping their options open, and I think they have a plan B and a plan C. Rob Pelinka showed that he can make moves quickly, like this when he wants to. Remember, Kawhi Leonard did us dirty. Very last second chose the Flippers. I don't know why. He's still regretting that career move to this day, just like we said he would. But he chose the Flippers, and not just that, but he did it last second. So Rob Pelinka had to turn around and put together a team that could compete and eventually win a championship, which shows you that Rob is very capable. I give him the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to say. Some guy earlier said that Rob Pelinka was lazy. I'm like, stop it, man. He built a championship team in one off season. I don't know what you're talking about. He's smart. Give him the benefit of the doubt. Kobe trusted in him, and so should we. He already proved many people wrong. Dan, hopefully our starting lineup is Dennis Oladipo. He said, who else? LeBron, AD, and Drummond. He said, we will be unbeatable. That just sounds like a pipe dream. It sounds great. Don't get me wrong. It sounds amazing. Like, your lineup sounds magical. Chances of that happening, though, slim to none. We'd be lucky, like I said, we're lucky to get one of those players. And that, to me, that's enough to move the needle. The Lakers are already really good. We went on a 7-game win streak there before the injury bug bit us. So we already proved that we're good enough to compete as we are right now. And all we need to do is address that weakness at the center position. But if we can just get one of those guys you mentioned, we're good to go. And even if we miss out on both of those guys, if we can get just a solid role player that could come in here like Dwight did last year and just fill in that role, that's all we need. But anyways, that's going to wrap it up for me, guys. Thank you guys so much for tuning in today. I appreciate it, man. Just wanted to update you guys on the latest thing. All things Lakers, you know where to find me. If anything breaks, I'll be right back after these messages. You know how the drill goes. Make sure you guys smash the like button, though, on your way out. And if you already haven't, please consider subscribing. I'll see you guys here maybe even sooner than Friday night. But if not, Friday for pregame and for the postgame. You guys know the drill. I'll catch you guys later, man. Have a great rest.